Okay, just some thoughts on, this is my thoughts on, I suppose it's money, democracy, basically as our society. And I've noticed our society, this is British society, it resembles like a cancer. Now I've envisioned a more sort of idealistic society, it's learning from the Mycelium network. So in the Mycelium network, there's communication going on between all the different fungal network, and the sending resources. So here we have all the different trees. So they're all sending resources to each other, whoever needs it. And they're sending information. So this is like a wood, let's imagine. They're all connected. So there's this connection that's going on. This is such a bloody rough overview. But look into Mycelium network, it's fascinating stuff. Anyway, so there's this network underground. So that's the ground, there's the soil. And these trees here, they're connected through this Mycelium network. And so there's information that goes along here. So let's imagine this is information, and it goes along. It sends from one tree to another, and then this tree sends information to another one, and then there's resources that get sent back. I could do with such and such. So it's like resources. So let's imagine this is resource, and so that's going that way, and it's going like that, resources. So information going like one way. And then here, have a loaf of bread tree. Or whatever. Have some resources going that way. So it's drawing inspiration from this, and I can see it in society, or how this will work in society. So let's draw England, where I live. And so people or villages are just dotted around. And so there's this network that's going on. And you have information, so beep, and beep, and beep, beep, beep. So they're sending signals across each other. Communication. So all these communications, we need food, we need coal, we need to live. So we need to live. And we can provide living. Here you go, have some life. Thank you very much. And the same thing happens over here. We need to live too. Here, have some life. And so there's this network of communication from one town, village, homes to one another. Now, there wouldn't really be wouldn't be something that's central, central to everything. And you might sort of imagine there's like a central intelligence hub, but the brain is this is the brain. So I suppose this is the real center, it's the whole. So it's like this. I suppose that's the center, is the actual Mycelium network. And that's the actual intelligence. So it's like a brain. So here we have the actual brain, which is the whole. And so you're sending, like in a body, it sends around information, and wherever something needs. Like you banged your toe, you don't neglect it because it's only a toe. Who cares? It's part of the body. And so, you know, if you hurt your toe, it sends signals to the body, and then blood goes to the toe to heal it. And at the moment, I see a society is pretty much it's got cancers in it. So let's say, so here's drawn another brilliant map of England. So you've got London, and so it's just, you've got the road networks, everything going to London. I suppose all around the planet as well, because London's big financial centre, and so you've got all sorts of other stuff going on there. So it's just sucking in resources and it's sending information out. And so when you think of money, so this is why I'm doing this, and it's about money. Money is a form of communication. So it sends out a signal of, here you go, have some money. You have some lots of cash or whatever, dollars or pounds. It goes one way, and give us your resources, going the other way. And yeah, that can be, or whatever. And it's central, and so you can see this. You know, imagine the road network as being like veins, like human traffic. That can represent blood. So you've got all this blood of action, behavior, all going to a center. And what these centers, you know, they all seem to have like these big buildings, and everyone's going there for work, and it's, you know, it's rush hour, everyone's stuck, traffic jams. In effect, that's kind of like the blood, you know, it's all the blood it's stuck. And then you've got these people who are multi-millionaires, you know, it's all concentrated. So that's kind of a cancer. That's how cancers work. You know, they basically get all the resources from all around everywhere, and they just sucking all the resources everywhere. And they're not, you know, this is the idea that they're creating wealth. They're not, because the wealth is human created and from nature. And so there's this conscious network, everything's centralized, and they're giving out signals, information in the form of money, along with laws going out, and it's all going there. Whereas over here, you've got the Mycelium network, where there's something more holistic, it's whole. And one thing I thought of actually is, where does this come from? So I thought of the puritanical kind of mindset that there is in my country. So it's almost as if we have like a martyrdom kind of culture. So it's like martyrdom, let's write that, I can't spell, but anyway, martyrdom. So martyrdom culture. So this martyrdom culture, people like to the boast about how hard they're working. So, you know, they're just exhausted, just do some sad eyes and tongue sticking out or whatever. And it's basically saying, you know, I've worked really hard, and it's telling people, you know, how hard you work. And even when you're sick, you know, people still turn up to work when they're sick, and they like to, you know, say, you know, I've worked my ass off, even though I was sort of dying in bed, and here I am. And this kind of culture of, you know, how many hours you're working, you know, you sort of like, I don't know, whatever, 40 hours, 60 hours. You know, there's a security guard I work with, and he does pushing like 90 hours. So he's doing like night shifts as well in old people's homes, and working in the day. So it's and there's this kind of like pushing work, and you're squeezing all the life out of you. And then if you're, it's almost like, let's do a thumbs up. Well done for working so hard. And then anyone who works like bugger all, apparently, let's say bugger all, like a lot less, 15 hours, 15, 5. And so it's almost like frowned upon. Do some frowning. And the scene as being lazy. So it's like, oh, you're so lazy for, you're not as good as these people. Whereas like these people here, they're so lazy. And so it's this kind of martyrdom culture, talking about how hard we work. And it's just pushing. And this is actually people on the bottom as well. So this is, people always have this vision of like a hierarchy. And then you've got whoever's at the top, big dog, or the bucks. And, there's this oppression that's going on, but it's almost like the people on the bottom are actually oppressing each other. So I do, all my life, all I've ever done is like low paid manual work. And at school, I was always seen as lazy because I never really did particularly well at school. And when I left work, the only thing I was actually good at was just working hard. And so, that's for working hard. So if we're working hard, it's sort of, I felt I had value. Oh, okay, so I've got value. And so it's almost like it goes into the whole culture, well done for working so hard. And look at those lazy people who, who were less. And so this mindset goes right across here. And it's like everyone just, it's like this ball sort of bouncing into each other, arguing and squabbling and what have you. But this is kind of perpetuated as well in the actual culture of the media. So you've got the media that pumps these stories. So let's imagine this is the media, the TV or mobile phone. And so there's like narratives that go into the culture, which are kind of own there. And so this is kind of like the parasite. So you've got a parasite, the cancer. So this cancerous parasite, and that controls that can control the mainstream narrative. So when someone comes along and goes, hang on, this is bullshit. So this whole thing is BS. It's turd. So that's, so BS. You can start to come out of it when you start to, let's imagine something else. Let's imagine something else. So you start to imagine something else. People see that as the people in the culture, they can see it as a threat. They go, what the hell? Who are you? Who do you think you are? And you can end up being sidelined. But all you're doing is coming out of this mindset, this way of thinking, this shite, and to imagine something else. We actually start to really flower and bloom. So here we have the situation where there's this cancerous, parasitical mindset that's bouncing around. It's very cancerous, and so it's held together by narratives. So this narrative where we can just go, you know what, we can. There's a different way. Let's try and imagine something else at least. You know, let's begin by at least imagining, you know, something different, instead of just saying no, that's not going to work, and then they just go back to this. And you can actually start to go, you know what, let's try and see how we can go from here, let's say, and then, you know, you've got a different culture that's more holistic. And with money, so money, let's go back to money again. So money goes one way and resources go the other way. That's sort of resources. So here so this is like the signaling system. It's communication. Have this, give me that. And so we can replace that and move towards that's what I've written down here, let's say. So move away from buying and selling, buying and selling, and move towards asking and giving, asking and giving. So asking and giving is more towards the mycelium network. So the mycelium network is communication. So in effect, the asking for help is a form of, it is communication signaling, instead of this limited amount, that it's almost like you become dependent on the money. And so we can have something that's more in alignment, where we're connected together instead of exhausted. You know, here's the exhaustion, and people are absolutely knackered. So I know people, you know, they like to say how hard they work, and we all want jobs. You know, here's politician. Here's politician. More jobs. More jobs for everyone. Now the reality is that people don't actually like jobs. That's just how it is. And you can see that by people looking forward to holidays, or, you know, you can do holidays, weekends, home time, breaks. So here we have, oops, smiley face. Yeah, holidays, weekends, home time, and breaks. And then we have a job on Monday. It's Monday. And then you got to end up suffering in silence. So this idea of suffering in silence was just this. Apparently, this is like this puritanical. It's a Christian mentality. It's puritanical mindset where we suffer in silence, or it's like suffering through hard work, and so it's like just grafting away, and it's almost like, you know, this will get you to heaven. You know, someone digging, you know, just grueling away. And so this hard work mindset of this will bring you to heaven. The thing is, it's just constant work. So this idea of more jobs. Well, actually, people want to live. How about, you know, have a life? So you've got a politician here who goes, goes, you know what, let's say something else. About lives, not jobs. So this is what people actually want, really. They want to have a life. So you have more time. So as a species that we're supposed to be quite intelligent, let's draw a brain. So we're supposed to be really clever. So clever that wouldn't it be clever to find a way of working less? You know, reducing how many hours would a human work a month? Let's knock it down at 2 hours. 2 hours work a month. That sounds good to me. So you're working for 2 hours a month, or less. So work 2 hours per month. So 2 hours a month, and the rest is relationship, your children, inventing, what the hell? I can't remember when you do a question mark. Anyway. Inventing, discovering, some magnifying glass. Singing and dancing. So you're living a life. And this in itself, you know, this is where we have the flowering. It's where things go. Oh yeah. It's where things. This is like thriving. This is flowering. So we're moving away from this sort of parasitical, cancerous, exhaustive heap of that, and moving towards this, a life where, you know, and this network here, you start to see something whole, where you're, you know, but part of something that's balanced and beautiful and harmony. And it understands about human health and well-being. So the camera just cut out there. Anyway, human health and well-being with the all this going on here and this potential of you. So let's have a look at this. Because this is what it's all about. So here you are. There's this flowering. And so going from all this, so we've moved away from this holistic way of being, and you're having a life. And so this flowering over here, that's happening. And so here we have something inside of you. So actually you start to able to live. And so this expression that's coming out. And there's this, I suppose it's this divine spark, the soul expression of your own being, your own essence. And so this flowering is like the great light that lies within, and you're being empowered. So it's like the environment that you're in. So you're part of this beautiful kind of network that you're, more people as dots. So it's this great network that's happening. And so instead of this whole selling and buying and this kind of cancerous kind of culture, where everything is just so centralized. It's like central command that's going on. You're moving towards something that's holistic. And because it doesn't just stay there, it's moving you up to the heavens or the light or whatever it is that you want to call it. It's helping you to expand. So you're expanding, and you're expanding in, it could be consciousness. You're expanding your soul. You're expanding. You're growing. So it's this sense of growth. And in effect, that's what's going on in the mycelium network. So you've got all these, like in a forest, it's all growing, you've got life, birds whizzing around, you've got flowers, or a hedge, or whatever that is. And you've got animals in there. So this whole network of life that's thriving, to draw inspiration from the mycelium network into a life that's directed into our social lives, into our whole political structure, our economic structure. We are understanding, so it's almost like the foundation itself is you. The stick, this is you. And this structure moving towards that potential that's lying within you, and to open up. So it's almost like we're sort of closed flowers at the moment. It's almost like we don't realize that. It just sort of seems as normal, but like to become that open flower, and then just to draw things in. So that's my take. That's it.